Okay, another major wealth tax may be coming to the West Coast. Surprise, surprise. This time it's Washington State, where lawmakers are pushing for a millionaire's tax. Can't they come up with a better title? It's always a millionaire's tax. Critics say could send that tax base packing. Fox Business's Max Gorden joins us with more. Hey, Max.
Hey, Brian. Well, Washington's Governor Bob Ferguson and some state Democrats are pushing for a 9.9% tax on income above $1 million per year. If passed, that would mean Seattle's millionaires would have the highest total top income tax rate in the nation at 18%, placing it above New York City and Portland, Oregon. Washington State is home to major companies like Costco and Starbucks and has a vibrant tech sector, including Amazon and Microsoft. But there's worry that this state income tax could drive away top talent.
I think particularly tech workers who have their restricted stock options vesting, where it's that particular year where a lot of income is coming all at once, it's going to hurt them. And what this ultimately means is that it's less attractive to be a tech employee in Washington compared to somewhere else.
But Democrats claim that the tax is all about fairness, since lower income people in Washington state pay a higher proportion of their earnings in taxes than wealthier people. The governor's office estimates that if approved, the tax would apply to just 0.5% of Washingtonians and would raise more than $3 billion a year for the state amid a budget shortfall.
It would go to invest in the things that Washingtonians really count on, like K-12 education, higher education, and healthcare, first and foremost. The taxes that we do collect don't keep pace with the growth of the broader economy. We're really strained right now.
In the governor's proposal, the tax on millionaires would be coupled with a reduction in taxes for small businesses, an elimination of taxes on personal hygiene products, and an expansion of the state's working families tax credit. But opponents of the tax say it would drive wealthy residents out of Washington state, would actually hurt small business owners, and is unconstitutional.
Nobody in Washington really thinks that it will be a tax on just millionaires. I mean, first they said it was taxes on the billionaires, then they said now they say it's the millionaires, and next it'll be the thousandaires. It'll be the rest of us.
If the plan is approved, it'll likely face legal challenges. The tax wouldn't kick in until 2029. Brian, back to you.
All right, Max, thanks very much for that.
Thank you.
Taylor, so Washington looks at California and says, hold my beer, and wants to do all sorts of tax hikes. Did they say they were going to cut taxes on hair products, but raise them on income? Like what? Okay, explain this to me. You're West Coast. Explain this.
Let's make sure that, I mean, we'll confirm with Max, but if I heard him correctly, they said we'll raise taxes on millionaires and then cut taxes on personal hygiene products. We'll confirm that. I think that's what my ears said, but I'll take the cotton out of my ears and put it in my mouth next time. Okay, let's talk about this. Brian, pop quiz. If this were an actual tax revenue problem, this actually isn't a pop quiz, it's just a statement.
Like your other pop quizzes, it's actually not a quiz.
It's a period, no question mark.
Or hypothetical. Wouldn't states with no state tax have the blowout budget deficits? If this were truly a taxation problem. It's not. It's a spending problem.
True.
Pop quiz. True. Yeah. Why? Because Florida has a $4 billion budget surplus, even though they don't have any state income tax. California has an $18 billion budget deficit, likely to balloon to $35 billion in 2028. Yes. And Washington, by some analysis that I was looking at, has a $16 billion budget deficit. Taxes are not the solution. If taxes were the solution, they would all have budget surpluses, and they don't.
And this is straight up wealth confiscation. I mean, it's immoral, it's impractical. I have a short list of countries that have tried and abandoned wealth taxes: France, Germany, Sweden, Denmark, the Netherlands, Finland, Austria, Italy. I mean, the list goes on and on. This has been tried and failed once again. And, you know, redistribution of wealth, which is really what this is, that was one of the central planks of Marx's Communist Manifesto. So this is Marxist economics come to Washington state, and you'll see all those millionaires, they're on the first train out of town.
Well, and Dagan, I think this might actually hit small businesses too, those pass-through businesses with $1 million.
For sure.
I think that's one of the risks here is they craft this to go after millionaires.
Right, they have a vision that it's a Scrooge McDuck who would win his big room of, that's who a millionaire is. Millionaire ain't what it used to be, and this is going to hit the small businesses very hard.
Coins.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Swimming out of the gold.
I don't know. Dagan, what do you think?
Well, I was talking to somebody in Silicon Valley, last night about just what's going on in California as one example. And the bozos who put these ideas together, because in California it grew out of one of the unions.
Yes.
That they don't realize that, so you will, assuming that a founder, one of the big tech founders, doesn't get out of Dodge, which they have, that they would be forced to sell their shares in the company they found. And who does that hurt? People who own those stocks in 401k plans and in pension funds. So you manage to screw everyone when you're just trying to confiscate the wealth of the few. They have no idea what they're doing.
Yep.
And never mind, I'll hold my tongue.
Jackie.
Because somebody called me Bernie Sanders online because I think that the people who run these big banks are, again, giving the shank and the shiv to working folks.
Do you like to wear big parkas and big mittens? He likes to wear big parkas and mittens. That would make
remember
you more
that
Bernie.
meme?
Remember that picture of him?
I'm just thinking about where does this go from here? If California's deficit is going to basically double, is what you said, in 2 years, and Washington is on the same trail, and Illinois has serious problems, New York has serious problems, where does this end up? So now everybody's escaped that state that they don't want to live in. Anybody who has half a brain and doesn't want to pay that much in taxes anymore. We're already seeing population shifts. Who is left? The people who are left in Chicago right now are the people that, that couldn't leave, couldn't afford to leave. The very ones that the Democrats say we're trying to help you, and they're living under the worst conditions possible. So I'm just thinking, you talked about school yesterday, Taylor, and thinking about your daughters and what will the world look like in 16 years. And that really stuck with me. I'm trying to think about what the world does look like in 16 years. Demographics, states, does this get to a point where, you've got a civil war of blue versus red states? And how long does it take for that to happen? Because this model can't continue the way it's continuing.
I just think the economic center of gravity in America shifts really starkly to places that value capital and value good ideas and entrepreneurs. And it's not even a civil war, because at the end of the day, the blue states can't, there's nothing they can do. All the best people have left. Right, and they're left trying to patch their holes, and in the meantime,
no, but they're going to get really angry when they can't patch their holes, and their deficit is $36 billion, and there's people on the street starving. It sort of goes back to this conversation about Biden inflation and where we are right now and how people feel. We have all learned from previous examples. If you take an attitude of, well, let them eat cake, you have a revolution on your hands. And so I'm not saying that President Trump is doing that. He's not doing that at all. But we have a serious problem that needs to be addressed, because those people who dug themselves into that hole, then they're going to get really angry.
Yeah, they kind of already are. I think you're right. Anger is the trademark characteristic of that group.
You know what the world's going to look like for her girls? Big sky, because they're going to be living in Montana.
But look, money's fungible. It goes to where it's treated well. And Jackie, to your point, we've seen this slow progression, slow but steady, from the so-called blue states to so-called red states. Right. People are paying lower income taxes. Why wouldn't they move? And when you're talking about a wealth tax, true confiscation of wealth, you're going to have the best and brightest leave Washington, leave California, and set up in whether it's Miami, Florida, or anywhere else.
Texas. Federalism, federalism, federalism.